The Mobile County Public Schools presents Homeroom.
Hi, and welcome to Homeroom, where we introduce you to the educators and the students who make Mobile County Public Schools the best school system in the state of Alabama. I'm your host, Renee Phillips, and today we are at a very special place. We are at the Environmental Studies Center on Gerby Road, where we're going to talk to Director Tracy J. about just the fantastic programs that you offer here. So tell us, what is the Environmental Studies Center?
Well, we're so excited to have you here today. Welcome.
Thanks.
The Environmental Studies Center is part of Mobile County School System, and we're sort of a field trip destination for our students and students across the area to come and learn a little bit about this environment that we live in. And we do environmental studies and environmental courses for students and for the citizens alike of Mobile County.
And what an asset you are to the children and teachers of Mobile County. How did it come about that we have an Environmental Studies Center?
Oh gosh, it actually came about before I was even born. So in 1964, this land that you're sitting on now was designated as an outdoor classroom for kids to come to walk through the woods. There was a couple of trails that were cut through, and it actually wasn't until 1978 when the actual building that we're in now was actually constructed. So I think it was 1974 when Mr. Lloyd Scott was hired on as the very first director here, and through his programs and him working and securing the funding, we were able to get the facilities today. And so from 1978 up until now, we've just kind of added on and made it better until you see what you get out here.
That's great. I noticed there was a Lloyd Scott loop driving in, so we owe a lot to him that it's here.
We owe a lot to him.
And then, so what's your purpose? What do you do for the children and teachers?
So our purpose here is kind of twofold. Not only to support the teachers and their curriculum, so all the programs that we offer here directly correlate with the course of study standards that the teachers are teaching in the science classrooms. So we're here to sort of support them and provide extra assistance to them. But we also provide environmental education on this unique coastal ecosystem that we have here in Mobile County to the students and to the citizens that are in the area. So we covered everything from freshwater ecosystems all the way up to pine forests and pitcher plant bogs. We have a little bit of everything here on campus. It's really cool.
Because it is neat. It's an oasis in the middle of the city. You have a lake, pitcher plants. Tell us about how many acres is it and what do we have here?
So right now we have about 350 acres, and most of it is left pretty natural. And so in this 350 acres, we have so many different ecosystems that we can study. We have everything for our 16-acre freshwater lake that we've got. We also have, we're kind of in the middle of an upland pine savanna that we have here. Forest, we have our pitcher plant bog that's kind of really unique, sitting in the middle of Mobile County. We also have our gum pond, which is our filtering system that leads into Halls Mill Creek. So we've got that bottomland ecosystem. So we have all the animals that are native to the area, pretty much most of them represented. So we've got so many different things that we can study while we're actually here, while the kids are here.
I think what surprised me most when I visited one time was looking at the pitcher plants, because my boys love those because they're plants that eat bugs.
Eat bugs, exactly.
And that's so fun. And you have trails, so tell us about the trails.
So we have about 2 miles of trails. They're very easy trails to navigate. Strollers might be a little hard, but they're easy walks. All of them lead back to the main road, so you can't get lost. But when you're actually out on the trails, you're kind of surrounded by woods, so it really feels like you're out in the woods somewhere and not in the middle of Mobile County. And so it's a really good opportunity for us to get the kids outside, get them in the woods, use all those senses to see and to smell and to hear and to kind of get an immersive experience. And that's something you can't get sitting in a classroom.
Right, and sometimes you are open for the public. I know it's different with COVID this year, but the best way for people to know when you're open is to do what?
Exactly. COVID has really done a number on us, but our grounds are open right now every day from 8 to 4. So, and then if you'll keep an eye on the website, we have a website which is MCPSSESC.com, and we also are very active on Facebook. That's probably the best place to get us is on Facebook. And we are opening now on the weekends some, so keep an eye on that. We will post when we're going to be open, and that's also open to the public. We have a $3 admission fee right now, and that's just really to kind of help keep us going during this time. And all of those admission fees go directly to the care and support of the animals that you see here on campus.
Okay, so in a typical year you offer field trips. So tell us, what types of field trips do the students go on?
Oh gosh, so we have everything from pre-K all the way up to high school seniors. We have opportunities for environmental education, starting with the little ones, and again supporting those teachers with content that they would normally be teaching in the classroom, all the way up to our Sea Ice program. And we also work in conjunction with the Dauphin Island Sea Lab, that we even offer boat trips into Mobile Bay to help those students actually get their hands on and to see some of the things they're studying in marine biology classes and sea ice classes.
Okay, and so fun hands-on learning takes place.
Everything is hands-on, exactly.
Now, you have a background in science. So is this your dream job, coming to work here?
You know, every day when I drive up the driveway, I still just get a little tingle in my chest. It is the amount of gratitude I have to be here right now in this place with this staff and this crew. I just can't describe it. It is a dream come true.
So tell us about your staff. You have scientists, educators.
We do. I have a full-time biologist on staff who takes care of the animals, and she's got 4 part-time workers and a whole cadre of volunteers that keep us running. And then I have 3 on staff of the best educators in Mobile County. We have an elementary and 2 secondary. And then, of course, we have grounds crew, custodian. You know, we have a very small staff that keeps this place running. They're quite incredible people, though.
They are, and we're going to meet some of them later on in the show.
Yeah.
And so meanwhile, with COVID, you're not having the field trips you typically do. Do you miss the kids? You can't wait to have them back?
The energy in this place is just not the same without our babies. We miss them so bad, and it's been so difficult to be here this year without them.
Right, but hopefully we'll have them back, and we'll let them know when they can come back.
Absolutely.
And since they can't be here, we're going to take them on a virtual field trip. And Susan Clements, your biologist, is going to introduce us to some of the reptiles and the mammals around here, and that way they can get to know them and learn some science. So,
exactly.
Right, so we have to break for commercial, but when we come back, we're going to learn about the animals here at the Environmental Studies Center. So stay tuned.
Each month, more than 90 guns are reported stolen from unlocked vehicles, creating the potential of serious injury or death.
Lock it up.
Many violent acts and crimes are committed with stolen guns.
Lock it up.
According to ATF, stolen guns pose a substantial threat to public safety.
Lock it up.
Be responsible. Take time to record your handgun serial number and secure it from thieves. Lock it up.
Lock it up for me.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today we are on a virtual field trip at the Environmental Studies Center, which is part of the Mobile County Public School System. This is a great place that our students typically can come on a field trip to learn about nature and animals. And joining me, I have Susan Clement, who is a biologist here and an educator, and she has a special friend, Cobb.
Cobb.
Tell us about Cobb.
This is Cobb. She is our albino corn snake. She's an educator too. She teaches the students about snakes. So she's a real big part of our educational program.
And I love the name Cobb.
Corn, yeah, you
Corn on
know,
the
we're
cob.
very original. Corn cob for cob snake. I mean, corn snake, exactly. She's normally where you see the light orange, she's going to be brown, and the dark orange would normally be there, and she has pink eyes instead of brown eyes. Another coloration is amelanistic. There's no black pigment on her skin.
Non-venomous, right?
Non-venomous. This is one the kids can touch. You know, so many kids come out and want to be able to touch something, and most of our animals you can't touch, but this is the touchable educator right here, and the kids love it.
Very friendly.
Very safe touch. You know, we have these are your snake touching fingers, and that is how they touch them. We're not grabbing, we're just using those snake touching fingers to feel what they feel like.
Cool. And you're a biologist, so tell us, how did you get into biology, and what landed you here at the Environmental Studies Center?
Well, basically my whole life I've always loved animals. My parents had a pet shop. I grew up working at the pet shop. I just always knew from when I was little that I wanted to do something with animals. So I actually went to Florida State. I got a degree in biology there. While I was going there, I worked at a wildlife rehabilitation center, learned about that, and I really learned to love that. I worked at a marine mammal park called Gulf World in Panama City. Worked there for 10 years with the dolphins and sea lions and birds.
Oh, wow.
And when my husband was transferred, he was in the Coast Guard, he was transferred here, And it just kind of worked out that I started part-time here, and then it became full-time, and I'm doing everything I could possibly love to do, working with animals 24/7, you know. It's just a wonderful job.
A dream job. And
a dream job.
We always talk to our students about what do you want to be when you grow up, and
Yes.
we're preparing them to be college and career ready. So is this a field
Yes.
that you would recommend if students like science and
Well,
animals?
you know, with biology, there are so many different ways you could go with biology. So it's not just, you know, you can end up maybe going to the veterinary field. You could do the research field. You could be a game warden. There's just so many different options out there. You could work at a zoo, at a pet shop, you know. So it just, biology, like I said, it's a very broad field, so you have to kind of know what you're going for, and it can be difficult to get a job. But if you have a love for animals, it's something, you know, I recommend. Sometimes it's tough to get in there, but once you do, you're going to love it.
And obviously you have a love for animals, for Cobb, and then we are
Yes.
in the classroom that students come to visit when they're on a field trip. Tell us about some of these other animals.
Well, we have, you know, again, this is our classroom, so what we mainly have in here are reptiles. We have some fish, we have some amphibians, but the majority are reptiles. We have a gator that is 2 years old. We've had since it was a hatchling, so it's been here. He's one we can take out of the aquarium. The kids don't touch, but they can still look at it really close. We have outside our large 11-year-old gator that they see outside, but it's nice to have this small one that they can really get up close. We have all kind of turtles. We have a diamondback terrapin. This is a turtle that's only found in brackish water, so our bay is great habitat for these diamondback terrapins.
Remind us what brackish water means.
Brackish water is where you have salt water mixing with fresh. So our bay has the 5 rivers coming south with the fresh water, and then we have the Gulf that's coming into the bay, you know, north into the bay, and that's mixing together, causing this brackish water environment, and that's the perfect environment for these terrapins. So we're one of the few areas, you know, in America that has this brackish water environment for these diamondback terrapins.
'Cause I've read recently that actually Alabama has a lot of species, more than most of the country,
Yes,
right? Because
we
of that
have-
brackish water and the
Well,
environment. And
because of the environment. Alabama has more species of turtles than any other state in America. So that's a very cool thing to be able to say. We have a lot of good habitat, all the rivers, lakes, and our bay, you know, that have good habitat for these turtles.
And sometimes we see turtles in our neighborhood. What kind of turtles will people see out and about?
Yeah, we also have, we have 2 land turtles. We have the box turtles, a lot of different subspecies of box turtles, which are the most common. They're the brown and yellow turtles, which we have in the classroom here. And they're brown and yellow. They get to be about 8 inches long. They have the very high domed shell. They don't swim. They're not water turtles. They don't have webbed feet like water turtles do. We also have what are called gopher tortoises here in our state. This is another land turtle. They dig the burrows that can be 30 feet long, 10 feet underground. So that's the other land turtle that we would find in Alabama.
Isn't that fascinating? You don't realize how many turtles we have.
know,
And then you have some venomous snakes here.
Yes, that's another thing. You can come to the Environmental Center and be able to look up close and safely and be able to see, we have 6 venomous snakes in our state. We actually have 5 of them alive here at the center that you can come look at and learn to identify. You know, really look at our pygmy or ground rattlesnake. Get a good look at it, so if you see one in your yard, oh, I saw one of those at the center, that's what it looks like. We have 3 rattlesnakes here, the timber, the pygmy, and the diamondback, which are the only 3 rattlesnakes in Alabama.
All venomous.
All
Yep.
venomous. We have the water moccasin, which is the most common one down here, and then we have the copperhead. So you can actually come and see them live at the center and, you know, really be able to identify them in that way.
And is there a trick that I can tell if a snake is venomous or not venomous?
There's, you know, a lot of people say it's the head. They have the large triangular head. I don't always recommend that because some of your non-venomous can really flatten out and have those jaws. But basically what I tell everybody is if you see a snake, just leave it alone. The best way to keep from being bit or being bothered by a snake is just walk away. People get bit when they're either trying to kill or trying to catch a snake. So if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone.
Except for Cobb here.
Except for Cobb. She loves to be touched with the 2 fingers, but yeah. She is, gosh, we've had her probably about 6 years now. We got her when she was about 6 months old, so she's been here for a while.
Oh, well, I love Cobb, and I love that the venomous snakes are all put away so we can look at them and not touch.
Yes.
And I love that piece of advice. Leave
Yes.
them alone.
Leave them
Right,
alone.
if you see them
They're
out
good
there.
for us. They're good. You know, they eat these animals that we don't want, the mice and the rats and the insects. So we want to have them around, but just at a safe distance.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. We've got a break for commercial, but when we come back, we're going to learn about some of the mammals that we have here at the Environmental Studies Center. So stay tuned.
The Mobile County Public Schools Signature Academies program offers a variety of specialized curriculum for highly interested and motivated students. These academies provide students with choices ranging from aviation to healthcare, advanced information technology to international studies, from engineering to coastal studies. These high-quality hands-on programs prepare students for careers readily available in Mobile County. Signature Academies program. It starts with us.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today we are on a virtual field trip for you, real for us because we're here, at the Environmental Studies Center, which is part of Mobile County Public Schools. I have Susan Clement, who's a biologist here, and she has a very special guest who is kind of sniffing her right now. Yeah. This is our possum. What's our possum's name?
This is Elsa,
okay.
And she is a 3-year-old possum, and she has an interesting story to tell. You know, we run a wildlife rehabilitation program here where we take in injured and orphaned wildlife, fix them up, and then our goal is to release them back to the wild. Well, what happened with Elsa is her mom was hit by a car.
Oh.
And, you know, possums are marsupials. They grow up in a pouch on mom's belly, and they're in mama's pouch for about 3 months. Well, Elsa and her siblings, I'm going to kind of sit her down here. Elsa and her siblings were in the pouch. They were about 1.5 months old, eyes just open. And unfortunately, mom died. All the siblings died, and Elsa survived. But when the impact of the car hit her, it damaged her jaw. So you can kind of see her tongue kind of hanging out a little bit because she's not able to,
I see it.
She's not sticking her tongue out at you. But she had damage to the jaw where she can't close it all the way. So she can't eat really well, so we ended up having to keep her because she could not be released because of her jaw. But now what's neat is a lot of these animals that come through the rehab program eventually go to our educational program. So now she's an educational possum. She's just like Cobb. She's here to teach people and students about possums. You know, so many people just have this image of possums are just, they're mean and they have all these teeth and they bite and they're ugly, but possums are so cool. First of all, being marsupials. They're the only marsupial native to North America. The females have that pouch that they raise their babies. They have this prehensile tail. You can see it kind of wrapping around my hand. It was holding on. They're nocturnal, they're active at night, they're omnivores, they eat just about everything. So they're really cool animals to teach about.
They are fascinating.
Yeah.
I did not realize they were marsupials. But and many kids probably don't know that too.
Yeah.
And so your rehabilitation program, you do take animals that are injured or sick. So tell us, what types of animals do you take?
Well, basically what we really focus on are birds. We take in all native birds. We also, the only mammals we take are possums and bunnies. We're not allowed, we have a permit. You have to get a permit to do this. You can't just decide, well, I'm going to rehab birds or I'm going to rehab this. You have to get a permit through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife and through the State Conservation Department. So on our permit, it is only listed birds, possums, and bunnies.
And
so we
rabbits.
cannot take squirrels, we cannot take raccoons and other animals.
We
There
get
are
calls
other-
about squirrels, so
Yes,
no squirrels.
No squirrels.
And-
But you know what's really cool about so many babies is most babies can be reunited with their mom, and people don't realize it. And we always tell people, you know, wouldn't you rather be raised by your own mom instead of someone else? And if we can get them reunited back with mom, that's always a lot better than us doing it.
Right, so they find a baby squirrel, leave it alone mostly? Or
Usually we'll tell them put it in a basket in the tree, and mom comes down, gets it, and brings them back up to the nest. And that's all and it works. People don't always believe me, but they'll call me back, oh my gosh, it really worked. And, and it does. That maternal instinct is very strong.
they find their babies.
They find
so
their
you
babies.
take birds, rabbits,
And
possums. Okay,
yeah,
so
and reptiles. we do take turtles and other reptiles, snakes that are injured. So any reptiles we take also.
And how do they call the Environmental Studies Center, and you give them instructions on how to bring them here?
Usually we always recommend calling first, because again, if it's a baby, we're going to try that reuniting, and I'm going to go over that with the people. But if it's something they just saw it get hit by a car, it has a bloody wing, basically we just recommend put it in a box, keep it quiet and warm. We recommend not even feeding it, because you don't know what they really eat anyways, and just get it here as soon as possible. And we need to make arrangements because again, with COVID right now, we have to make arrangements on a time, on when they're going to do it, and that. So always give us a call first.
So you have a lot of mammals here at the Environmental Studies Center. Tell us about them.
We have probably our most popular mammals are the deer. We have two deer, Nick and Clara. Clara is now 2. Well, goodness, Clara, she's 2.5 now. And Nick is now 11. So we have a boy and a girl. A lot of times when it's really cold, they like to go out in the woods where it's, down in the valley where it's warm, but they love being around people. We've had them since they were young. We have a couple of raccoons. Probably they're not going to be up during the day because of them being nocturnal. But besides the mammals, we have a huge pond outside with all kind of turtles. We have our outdoor alligator, like I mentioned earlier. She's 11 now. She's about 9 feet long. Delta is her name. We've had her since she was a hatchling. We have all kind of birds of prey, our bald eagles, our hawks, and our owls. We have a really cool pelican. Most everybody knows about the brown pelicans, which we see here year round. But we have a white pelican. His name is Dudley, and they're just here during the winter. So he's really cool to look at too.
So where do they go in the summer, do you know?
During the summer they go up north. So they migrate down here when it's warm. Well, for them it's warm. For us right now it's not. But they come down here. If you go to Municipal Park, if you go out to the bay, you'll probably see some white pelicans this time of year. They usually head out in March, back up north to literally, the Wisconsin, Montana, up in the northern states to lakes up there.
And the same ones come back here every year?
Yes, and then they migrate down for the south.
When do they come back here?
We start seeing them the end of October, November, and like I said, they're here for about 5 or 6 months, and then they head up north to breed and have their babies up there.
And I got to go out with you one time when you did the pelican release.
Oh, yes.
So how is that? Like when you nurse them back to health and can get them back up in the air?
As a wildlife rehabilitator, that's your ultimate goal, is to be able to put them back in the wild. And that release was really special because we got them as babies after that hurricane. We had 8 of them that we were releasing at one time. So to be able to see 8 pelicans fly off at one time, even though it took a little while, it's cool. They're going back to their habitat. They're going back to where they belong.
And that's our goal. I love that. And what great work you're doing here. And I love that it's part of Mobile County Public School System because our students get to experience it and see it. So thank you for what you do, and thank you, Elsa, for coming on the show.
She's been looking at you like, what's going on?
She has something she wants to say. But we have to break for commercial, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more about the Environmental Studies Center. So stay tuned.
I'm Ashley Rich, District Attorney. Today I want to talk to you about a program that we at the District Attorney's Office has with the Mobile County Public School Systems to help with the bullying issues that are going on in today's world because of social media and because our young people think it's okay to bully others. It's not okay to bully others. Bullying is repeated verbal and physical abuse, ongoing verbal and physical abuse. We at the Mobile County District Attorney's Office want to help the community, we want to help the public school system, and we want to stop bullying within our community. It's really, really important that we do so. And parents need to be responsible if their child is either being bullied or if their child is a bully. Parents need to be involved to stop the bullying or to help the child if they are being bullied. And we at the Mobile County District Attorney's Office and the Mobile County Public School System are also here to help.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. We are having a great day here at the Environmental Studies Center, part of Mobile County Public Schools, where we are taking you on a virtual field trip. We've met the reptiles, the mammals, talked about the rehabilitation program, and now Troy Latham is going to tell us about the bees. He's one of the few beekeepers in our area, the only one in Mobile County, which means you can not only take care of bees, you can educate other beekeepers. So tell us, how did the bees come about? here at ESC?
I had a former principal that was a beekeeper, and he kind of got the gears turning, and we were sitting around trying to brainstorm some things that we could do around here new, and so honeybees came to mind, and we ended up putting an observation hive on the porch for all the students and the public to see when they walked up, and it just kind of grew from there. It started at an observation hive, and then we built a whole pollinator program around our honeybees.
So how many bees do we have here?
Right now we have 6. It varies throughout the year, usually a minimum of 2 up to a maximum of 8 colonies of hives, and there's roughly about 30,000 bees in each one of those colonies.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot to tend to.
That's a lot of bees. So do you wear a special suit when you're tending to them?
I do. I wear a jacket and a veil because you want to be protected, and plus when the general public's around and the students are around, you want to make sure that you're doing everything safe so they don't get bad habits or think that they can go and do that. And so yeah, we take all necessary precautions.
And a lot of people are afraid of bees, myself included. So should we be, or
no? Bees are different than wasps, and that's one thing that we try to educate a lot of our students on, because the bees are pollinators and they're out to just find food. They're looking for pollen, they're looking for nectar, and they're minding their own business. And so unless you just physically go into a beehive, or you grab a bee and you hold it in your hand, they're not going to bother you. It's the wasp and the hornets that are ones that tend to be more aggressive towards us.
So when you see a bee, leave it alone. Same thing with the snakes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we say. Bees are fuzzy. If you see a fuzzy bee flying around, it's our friend. Leave it alone and don't mess with it. So yeah.
And they have an important job because they're pollinating and helping the flowers
grow. They do. A lot of people probably don't realize that roughly a third of the food that we eat comes from a pollinator, whether it's a honeybee or some other type of bee, and so that's very important, and we try to stress that around here, how important they are and what not to do around your gardens and your flower beds and so forth.
And the bees here, they produce honey.
They do. That's so not only do we use them for education, but we kind of supplement our program with the honey that they make and we sell. And so this year we harvested about 20 gallons and it's already sold out. So people think that you can buy local honey year-round, and from some of the larger beekeepers you can, but for most of us, honey is only produced in the spring. We harvest it in the summer, and then when it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone, and I've had some of your honey. It's delicious, and it's for sale in the gift shop. So that's a perfect segue for you, Tracy. Tell us, how can we support the Environmental Studies Center?
So right now, being closed down for COVID, it's been a very difficult time for us. My number one goal is to keep us running, keep our animals fed and tended to. Ways that you all can support us and help us out a little bit is if you go to our website at the top, we have a donate button. We're always open for donations. We'll be glad to take those. But we also have some other programs that are really kind of cool, such as Adopt an Animal. So if it's a birthday or if you've got a Christmas gift for that person who just has everything, feel free to adopt an animal. We'll put a plaque up in their honor on the cage that animal goes to.
So what kind of animals can you adopt?
Any of the animals that you find on the campus, we'll be glad to adopt out and let your name be associated as a patron of that animal.
What a great gift.
It is a great gift, especially for when you can't think of anything else. That's a good one. Okay, we also have our wish list. We have a wish list of some odd items that we always use every single day. That's also on our website. You can also find these things on our social media, on our Facebook, things like that. Find us, call us. We'll be glad to help you out with any of that.
Right. And I love that. You said you do have some weird things on the wish list, but there's a reason they all go to support the animals. There's so many different animals here. Yeah. Thank you guys for what you do for Mobile County and for our students and teachers here in Mobile County Public Schools. Your work is phenomenal. You're such an asset to our school system. Thank you so much for joining us today at Homeroom, where we have been visiting the Environmental Studies Center. You can learn more about the Environmental Studies Center by visiting MCPSSESC.com or follow their Facebook page so you can learn more about the programs and the important work that they're doing here. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on Homeroom.